So it looks like the National Guard has been activated in Minnesota, and I want to give you guys the latest. This is from the Associated Press. Man is shot and killed during Minneapolis immigration crackdown. National Guard activated. And there's multiple angles on the shooting. Basically, and many things you can say about this, but I think these are the most important ones at the moment. Looks like ICE pepper sprayed. Alex Preddy was his name. And then it looks like someone took away Preddy's gun. That's the guy in the gray jacket here. That matters because then if he's disarmed, he's really no threat to ICE agents, and then ICE agents shouldn't be shooting him at all, right? I mean, he doesn't have a weapon. If this is indeed what happened, and I mean, you can see it for yourself here. Also, the other angle, and there's multiple angles coming out on this, but basically they have him on the ground. There's multiple agents around. And if he doesn't have a weapon, again, there's no really reason to shoot him, let alone multiple shots fired. I saw the video for myself. It looks like at least 2 agents fired shots. And again, if he's unarmed and he's on the ground, like, I think it should be obvious. I just want to make that clear, guys. And you've probably seen these videos already. Mayor Fry, he says, after today's shooting, Minneapolis is filing a declaration to push for an immediate ruling on temporary restraining order. We need swift action to protect our city. So basically, ICE, get out. And that's been the message all along from local officials. The mayor also goes on to say, I formally requested National Guard assistance to support our 600 Minneapolis police officers. I've been clear for weeks. The situation is unsustainable. Our community is tired. Our officers are tired. Our businesses are tired. Our top priority is safety, and this will help. And then, again, it looks like the National Guard has been activated. So they're coming in. And Mayor Fry also said that I guess there's been 3 homicides in Minneapolis this year. 2 of them are ICE, right? So remove the ICE problem. I mean, ICE is just escalating things. I mean, you can see it on a daily basis. They just killed 2 people. Here's some footage of the National Guard coming into the town. People were posting this online. You can see it. So it looks like Humvees. And then basically, I think they're going to like the shooting where it occurred, and also to various federal buildings. So that appears to be happening. This is also some footage of various protests. It's completely understandable that people are out protesting. And just to make this clear, so this is Renee Good. This is Alex Preddy. So these are 2 people who have been killed by ICE now. And then again, Mayor Fry has called for the National Guard. It looks like they're just now arriving. The National Guard is now here. Kristi Noem is going to try to defend this thing. And the question is, what happened? Why do you claim this person was a threat?
You just made claims that the individual posed a threat to law enforcement.
That is no claim. It is the facts. The facts of the situation. This individual showed up to a law enforcement operation with a weapon and dozens of rounds of ammunition. He wasn't there to peacefully protest. He was there to perpetuate violence. And he was asked to show up and to continue to resist by a governor who's irresponsible and has a long history of corruption and lying. And we won't stand for it anymore. These law enforcement officers take an oath. They get up every single day and they go out to protect the public. Many of these individuals live in their communities. And this mayor and this governor have doxed them. They have allowed people to threaten them and their families and expose their identities in order to instill fear and violence. And that's not what America is about.
A couple things stand out for me. So first is, that's why I showed you the original photos to where, okay, if the guy's on the ground, he's disarmed, and she's going on about intent, but in that particular moment, regardless of what the intent is, right? I don't want to argue about the intent because it's irrelevant. If the guy's on the ground and is unarmed, and there's multiple agents around, like he poses no threat. I mean, that part matters quite a bit. And also, I want to point out the body language of the people behind her. I mean, just think of it this way. If your boss is out lying like in front of the public, do you want to be behind her in that? Probably not. And I think the body language matters. That's why you look at this stuff. And if you're anyone working with the ICE or known people, do you want to go on the record basically lying and be on the wrong side of history on this stuff? No. So I have a lot to say about this stuff. I just want to, try to keep to what's going on. Alex Jeffrey Preddy knew he wanted to help others, right? He was an ICU nurse, and then I guess He's been sort of description of him as a force of good in the world. This is also says a man fatally shot by federal agents in Minneapolis was an ICU nurse, believed a U.S. citizen. Someone actually says they knew him. It says one of my former research assistants was killed by ICE in Minneapolis today. Alex was the kindest, sweetest human and an ICU nurse with a bright future ahead of him. May his soul rest in peace and the senseless carnage stop. So it looks like someone, again, who knows him personally. These are real people. And I know sometimes when you see stuff on the internet, it doesn't feel real. It just seems surreal. Like this stuff happening, it doesn't feel real because it's so horrific. I don't know what else to say. And anyone who's seen the footage now, there's multiple angles out now. I'll just say the Trump people and the ICE people and DHS are in the wrong. It's pretty obvious, and they're just blatantly lying. I'll just leave it at that. Here's more. This is the ICE person. It's one of the Trump people. He's saying, if you approach law enforcement with a gun, there's a high likelihood there will be legally justified in shooting you. Don't do it. And so then they're getting fact checked by readers saying, okay, are we repealing the 2nd, 4th, and the 14th Amendment? It says the U.S. Constitution, right, prohibit officers from shooting citizens merely for possessing a weapon that is not an, quote, imminent threat. This was reaffirmed in the Graham versus Connor, which says force must be reasonable. So this matters if you look at the evidence, and again, if you're on the ground, you're unarmed, and you're shooting multiple times, and it looks like multiple shooters to me. Miller, right, they're basically going to come out and lie to you. Stephen Miller will say, a domestic terrorist tried to assassinate federal law enforcement, and this is your response. You and the entire state Democrat, don't blame Democrats, blah, blah, blah. Then Amy Klobuchar says, Donald Trump and all your lieutenants who ordered the ICE surge watched the horrific video of the killing today. The world is watching. Thousands of citizens stopped and harassed. Local police no longer able to do the work. Kids hiding, schools closed. Get ICE out of Minnesota, right? And so this is what I always tell you guys. Just you make up your own mind for yourself. Anyone, though, in my opinion, if you see the video for yourself, that's why I focus on some of the key facts here. If he's getting pepper sprayed and if he's unarmed and then they have him on the ground, there's no reason to shoot anybody at that point. And also they're going to try to claim, I'm just showing you what other points of view are. Fox is going to try to claim that I guess we're biting off fingers now. It says Fox News severed anti-ICE agitator allegedly bites off federal immigration officer's finger during Minneapolis unrest. That's what they're claiming there. So I guess we're doing that. And then I want to point this out because someone, Isaiah pointed out a really good point here. Remember when the Republicans were all celebrating that Kyle Rittenhouse was walking around with a gun, and I think he killed someone, if I remember correctly, if you guys remember this thing, and they're like talking about how great it is to have the, people having guns and such. Like, if you're bringing guns to a protest, which is the argument they're trying to make, so how does this fit in with your worldview? My view on this stuff, I wish none of these people have guns. I've said that several times. So, I think what happens is when people, change their point of view or side, depending on which team it's on or whatever, I think you lose all credibility. For me personally, I don't want anybody having guns. I just want to make it clear. That would include, say, ICE agents. You don't need to be shooting anybody. And this is the other problem. I mean, there's so many problems with this. It's so obvious. Like, you're shooting unarmed people at this point. And hey, if you show me evidence otherwise, I'm happy to look at whatever evidence. And this is what a fair and honest person does. You just look at what you see and you say, okay, I can see it. And then you do an investigation and you do rule of law and take all witness accounts, etc. It's just so frustrating because it's so obvious to me. But again, I'm just having a real conversation with you. And I think that's a good point to bring up, the Kyle Rittenhouse thing. So if Republicans are all celebrating Second Amendment stuff, what do you think about comparing this situation to the other? Because they're trying to say you shouldn't bring guns to protests or whatever, but they're all celebrating Kyle, right? And they put him on Fox News nonstop, talking like dude's a hero. This is more. Alex says, Trump administration official announces repeal of the Second Amendment, right? So people are calling him out on the, if you're a Republican and believe in the Second Amendment, why are you saying crap that you're saying? This is actually more, these are protests than downtown, or I didn't say downtown, I'll just say, it says an overhead view of protesters gathering at the scene of the shooting. Let's see what it says, what it looks like. You can see there's quite a lot of people that showed up quickly. And then and again, I mean, just from a human perspective, if someone's shooting my neighbors in my neighborhood, I'm definitely out in the streets with them, protecting my neighbors in my neighborhood, right? Just ice get out, and suddenly the problem goes away. I mean, I know it's so obvious, and it's frustrating that we're even have this conversation. I feel frustrated also because I feel like when you see what the Fox people are saying, it's just like, are you really just going to blatantly lie like this? I mean, I guess so. I guess that's what their plan is. But everyone can see it, and this is when you have overwhelming evidence that truth and facts do matter. Governor Gretchen Whitmer says, we are witnessing unacceptable violations of Americans' safety, rights, and freedoms. No one should accept this. The violence must stop. Michiganders stand with Minnesotans as they exercise their First Amendment right to protest and to make their voices heard peacefully. And then also John Mitnick, because I think is an important voice, also says, I helped establish DHS in 2002 and 2003, and later had the Homeland Security portfolio as the White House counsel and served as the general counsel of the department. So this person was there in the beginning. I am enraged and embarrassed by DHS lawlessness, fascism, and cruelty. Impeach and remove Trump now. So I hope more voices come out and say this. And honestly, we need to get the MAGA and the Republicans to just face the facts and the truth, right? Regardless of what you think about, immigration or whatever, the idea, though, that we're just shooting unarmed people here, it matters, right? And I just, for me, people, always ask, like, how do I make it through day looking at this stuff? I just be truthful, I don't have to like worry about twisting reality in any sort of way. Watch the footage for yourself. Look at photos for yourself. Just look at, use your own eyes is what I have to say. And then the key point you have to ask yourself is like, why are we firing 10 shots at someone on the ground already? And then clearly, and it looked like to me at least two office agents, however you want to call these people. I mean, it's just stuff so obvious. And then I think it's just a natural reaction for the locals to be like, wanting to get ICE out. You've already killed two people, your neighbors on the street. So I can't stress this enough. I know some people get upset that I don't swear, cuss, and scream more often. I don't know what else to say other than just I want to keep a cool head on this stuff and stick to the facts and of what's at hand. And I understand why people are upset. I completely understand. I'm upset. I just, and I think for me, the problem is like, how long can this MAGA Trump people or whatever live in this alternate universe, alternate reality? It's really, really frustrating. But when you have these clear evidence like this one, and this is even way more clear than Renee Good, which I thought that one was pretty clear. But this one's even more clear to me because, again, let's look at it for yourself. And I know for people who follow my channel, you already know what's going on. But I'm talking to more of the MAGA, Republican people out there. Like, watch the video for yourself. And it's hard to say that you have to shoot someone on the ground, already been detained, unarmed, like multiple times. There's no call for that. There should be a full investigation. You should charge. You should do investigation on Ross as well. So that would be the Renee Good shooter, and then also two shooters and everything. But we have so many angles of this thing. There's not really other ways that you can twist this around. So that's my thoughts on this. I'd like to hear yours. Thank you for your time, and I'll catch you in the next video.